Jared Polin, PhotoNosPhoto.com, and this is your...
So many social engagements, so little time.
Photo News Fix. This fix is brought to you by this orange box over on PhotoNosPhoto.com. Now, if you haven't signed up for my email list just yet, and you'd like me to send you a free guide to capturing motion in low light situations, just look for this orange box over on PhotoNosPhoto.com, put your name, email address in it, hit send it, and I'm gonna send you that guide for free. I also put together a weekly email update called The Weekly Fro with a recap of the week, as well as a little personal note that I kick it off with at the very beginning. So please consider signing up today. It's free, and I don't hammer you with junk email. First up, Canon Rumors is reporting that big announcements are coming the third week of July. They also said they aren't putting an exact date on it just yet, and they have admitted that as of late, they've had a bunch of failures with rumors. Now they're right, they've had a bunch of failures recently, but over the years, they've been way more reliable than any other Canon rumor type of site. Now Canon Rumor says that they've been told that the announcement date is still a bit of a moving target, but they're confident it's only going to be a matter of days, not weeks or months, when they do give us a date. Now what's weird is they go on to say that the R5 Mark II will start shipping in August and the R1 potentially not until November. But what's in R5 Mark II?
I don't know.
There hasn't been a development announcement of that one just yet, so not sure where they're getting that info, but the R5 is a little long in the tooth at this point, and I'd be curious to see what kind of refresh they give it if it is real. Now, it does seem like we're getting closer and closer to Canon's flagship R1 finally being announced. Now, let's hope it crushes, because they've been talking about it for at least the last 4 years, and that's a lot of pent-up hype.
Oh no.
Next up, Nikon has officially announced their long-rumored and roadmap 35mm S-line lens. Or did they? Phone call. I wonder who that could be. Hello? Ah, it's Madeline Kay with Nikon PR. I thought you quit like 2 years ago. What are you waiting for? What's that? It's not an S-line lens. It's something different? Okay, bye. All right, I guess Nikon has a roadmap for no particular reason.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Introducing the Nikon 35F 1.4, and yep, it's just the 35 1.4, not S, not VR, not anything else, just a basic lens, which isn't exactly a bad thing, but makes you scratch your head. That's my face, when you realize the 35 1.8 is an S-line lens and this 1.4 is not. It's also not a 1.2, which has been rumored for a long time, but more on that in just a minute. Now, I've always liked the look a 35mm gives me on a full frame body, but this lens isn't just for full frame. When you mount it on a crop sensor Nikon, you're getting a roughly 52mm focal length, which isn't that bad. Now, here's the interesting part. This 35 1.4, it's priced at $599, while the 35 1.8 S-line lens is on sale and is priced at $700. What's even more interesting is Canon's new 35 1.4 is priced at $1,500, and Sony's 35 1.4 is $1,400. I wonder how cheap feeling this Nikon lens is going to be, but then again, it's a cheap lens for what it is. Now let's jump back into that roadmap. There's still a 35mm S lens on there. Now, does this mean that Nikon is still sitting on a 35mm 1.2?
Who knows?
Because if the roadmap is true, we have a 1.8, we have a 1.4, what else could it be?
Who knows anything?
I don't know. You let me know down below. What do you think about this 35 1.4 being so cheap? And finally, it's here. The first officially licensed third-party lens for Canon's RF mount from Sigma. And this is it. This is the Sigma RFS 18-50 2.8. Yep, it's an RFS lens, which means it's only for cropped sensor bodies like the R7 and below. Now, I got my hands on this lens to review it and took it out once again to the ballpark to give it a spin on the Canon R7. You can check out the link down below to see that review. Now, it's not often I break out crop sensor cameras, but when I do, I choose Dos Equis.
Stay thirsty, my friend.
Actually, I don't drink. I don't like alcohol.
No fun.
Anyway, the Sigma 18-50 was originally announced in 2021 for the Fuji X mount, the Sony E mount, as well as the
Mount Alliance.
Up until this point, there's been no constant aperture RFS lens from Canon, just variable aperture ones. Now, basic kit lenses like the 18-45 f4.5-6.3 for $299. Now, when you put a lens on a crop sensor Canon, you multiply it by 1.6 to get its 35mm equivalent. That makes the 18-50 a 29-80mm equivalent. Now, 29 isn't exactly super wide, and you will find yourself wishing it were slightly wider, but it's not a deal breaker. Now, in the real world, the focus was fast and accurate and capable of shooting at the highest frame rates of the camera, unlike on Sony. Now, that's a Sony limitation on Sigma, not a Sigma limitation on Sony. So what that means is you can unlock all the power of the speed of whatever camera you're shooting on for Canon. Now, one thing I did notice is that the lens struggled to do continuous autofocus while you're zooming and trying to track a subject. But if you weren't zooming and you were tracking a subject, it worked spot on. Now, this is normal in most budget lenses. They have to limit something. Now, speaking of budgets, the RFS version of this lens is $599, whereas the X mount, L mount, and E mount version are $50 less. Is this an added tax for Sigma to be on the RF mount that the Canon did? Or is this just a case of inflation? Because 2021 to 2024, a lot has changed.
We fear change.
All in all, this is a nice, solid, compact option that's perfect for someone just starting out, even if they were shooting in full auto. And there you have it. That's your photo news fix this time around. Thank you very much for watching. Jared, Polin, Photo. See ya.